Richard Hughes, 1.56 for the season. Pivotal movement, wins well. Heading well inside the final furlong, and East Texas Red. It's a double for Richard Hannon and Richard Hughes. And Embankment is getting up. A trouble for Richard Hughes. Embankment. Magic Secret now 4 or 5 lengths ahead of Barfoot Bear, and Richard Hughes is going to make it 4 out of 4 for the afternoon. Hughesy an irrepressible form. He's going to do it again. Richard Hughes, a fabulous 5-timer. Duke of Clarence just ahead of Sheena's Buddy, and Duke of Clarence a superb 6-timer for Richard Hughes. Mama Quilla, she's out in front. It's going to be a magnificent 7 for Richard Hughes. Mama Quilla, fantastic stuff. Mama Quilla wins the last.
The 7-timer at Windsor. Windsor's a track you've always ridden very well, and you love going there as well. But when you went racing on that day, you looked at your rides, you had quite a few favourites, but did you actually think, I've got a chance here of...
Not in a month of Sundays now, to be honest. I remember about 6 weeks before that, I said to Lizzie one day, I could ride 8 or 9 winners today. And she thought I was gone bonkers, but I rode, I think it was 3 winners in 7 seconds. So I know how hard it is to do, because something will go wrong in one of the races, or one of the horses will scope bad, but actually 7 on the same day.
And the first few you rattled through, didn't they?
Yeah, when the third one won, which was Amanda Parrott's, the Abdullah horse, which is basically going out, run as well as you can. You know, when you kind of hear that, you go, oh. Yeah. And for when he won, I knew I was onto something real good. I said, I'll definitely ride 5 anyway. And
then when you did, and you got up to 5, and the 6th horse got beat and finished 3rd, did you think, oh, that's the end?
I never started to think about the Tory 7 factor. That never came into it. When he got beat in the 6th race, I said, great, but I'm not going to ride the card now anyway. Yeah. You know, and then I said, I'm going to win one of the last 2 races. So I'm definitely going to have 6, and that's great. Never thought that I'd have 7.
And then what about Ryan then, to turn around and say to you, look?
Ryan could see it was going the right way, you know. And we've been great friends for years. And he said, listen, I'm feeling crap anyway. He said, I've been hanging around since the airport all day. He arrived in from Canada that morning. He said, listen, you ride mine if Mr. Haggis says it's all right. And he says, I'll go on home. Because he's seen something special could be happening, you know, and it did.
But for you, it's great poster that your kids have made for you with your 7 winners on there. That's nice.
That just makes it, as you know yourself. If I had no winners, you can come home to your kids. But it was a special day now, and when they done that, and because little Harvey always says to me, when I ask him going out the door every morning, how many winners will I ride today, Harvey? And he says 6 or 7. I said, that must be the only 2 bloody numbers he knows. I said, Daddy can't ride 6 or 7. So he'd say, OK, 4, Daddy, or 2. Or... So when he came home that day and I said, I rode 7. He couldn't believe it.
What about the boss man, Richard Hannon?
He's a genius. It was Leicester on Monday. I rode 3 winners for him. He 2 seconds in the 3rd were his only runners, you know, and those horses were running in April. And he's the greatest constitution for defeat of all time, I think. And I think that's his biggest factor.
But when things go right, when things go wrong?
Seems to be the same, you know. I remember one day I gave him the saddle in Ascot. We hadn't had a horse finish our last place, and this was the 4th day into Ascot. I said, what are we going to do about these horses? He said, sure, what are you worried about? We're here now, get on with it. And Indian Ink went out and won 8 lengths. You know, that's his mentality, and he never changes anything when they're running bad. A lot of trainers start to panic a bit and change the feed and change this and that.
Together, Indian Ink with a good chance as well inside the final furlong and a half. Scarlet Runner, Me Emma Dargina. Indian Ink has come there swinging. Finch Gale Bio finding little. Then Majestic Roy from the rear. But Indian Ink now sets sail for home and scampers clear in deeply impressive fashion. Indian Ink strolls it.
He's there you know, riding out every morning, sticking his nose in. He's great crack to have about. He's a bloody good bloke, and he's a real help, you know, massive help. We're going to America tomorrow with him, and, you know, it's just another easy bloke when, you know, two heads are better than one. You know, I've got my opinion, Dad's got his, and Hughesy's got his, and there's three opinions. If we all agree, great, and we don't always all agree, but hopefully we like to think that we get the best out of the horses, you know, when we need to, and, you know, we very much value his opinion. You know, when he gets off, yeah, sometimes he gets off a little bit angry if he thought one should have won and it didn't, and then you just sort of don't pay attention to him, and you go back and you talk about it later on, and it's fine. But you know, yeah, he's a huge asset. He's been everywhere in racing. He's been to Australia, America, ridden everywhere, and done most things. So you know, he's very, very knowledgeable and got a wealth of experience. He's a great bloke. He's a great mate of mine. Such a good mate of mine that his kids had chicken pox about 2 weeks ago. So what did he do? Invited my wife round with our child, and she's now covered in spots. She looks terrible. No, he's a good bloke. He lives 100 yards from me, so I see an awful lot of him. Play cards, Texas Hold'em. He cheats a lot and have a good laugh. You know, there's more to life than racing, and he copes with that very well. You know, he can shut down and be a good laugh.